Can we talk for a minute about our Integrating Heart and Mind workshop?
Absolutely. I'm excited. It's coming up in the fall of 2024.
I'm so excited. We changed the format to make it more accessible to people with like work schedules and personal schedules. And so this time we're going to do it 3 hours on a Friday afternoon or evening, depending on where you're at, and 5 hours on Saturday for 2 different weeks in September.
Yeah, it's so great. Like if you're finding yourself stuck in like sticky bad patterns or having communication issues or something like that, or if you want to just like get closer and trust yourself or your partner more, this is the workshop for you.
Yeah, and individuals are welcome, couples are welcome. If you're interested in really thinking through how to serve yourself well inside of your relationships, then we've built a workshop that will support you in finding the ways that are just right for you.
To sign up, head over to our website at whydoesmypartner.com/events.
We hope you'll join us. Welcome to the Why Does My Partner podcast.
I'm Jules.
I'm Vicki.
And I'm Rebecca. We're your hosts. We're also couples therapists and messy humans bumbling through our own relationships every day.
We met at a training, and our secret sauce is that we and our partners became fast friends. Between us, we have more than 40 years of experience holding hard relational questions with our clients. We're going to bring those questions here.
And together, we're going to take a stab at answering those questions. This podcast is not a substitute for couples therapy. If something you hear in this podcast stirs something deep within you about your relationship, reach out to a couples therapist in your area.
We also love to hear your questions, so don't forget to go over to whydoesmypartner.com to leave a question of your own. Here's today's question. Today's question is, why doesn't my partner respect my boundaries? I tell her after we go to her mom's that I don't want to go every time. I've even told her that I need her to tell her mom to stop inviting me. I tell her it's not fair that she makes me go all the time. I don't get why she isn't listening to me.
Oof.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
My heart
first,
breaks.
I just want to send a message to this sweet human. I get it. You really do not want to go to her mom's, or maybe not. Maybe it's not even black or white like that, but it's like not this much.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Oof.
And then not feeling heard.
Yeah.
Sad. Yeah. I don't get why she isn't listening to me.
Yeah. And it feels like you're saying it in all the ways you know how.
Oh, yeah. That's a good way to phrase it. Yeah.
And that makes total sense because, we all copy people we've seen, and sometimes we're not. I mean, why does this podcast even exist? It's because you all want to hear, is there a better way to say this? Is there something going on I should understand more deeply? Right.
Totally.
Well, I actually don't think we get anyone to respect our boundaries. I want to be.
Isn't that the rub? Like, we don't get people to
my partner
respect the boundaries, right? Because
there's getting them to do something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is a tough one for a lot of folks.
It is so hard.
Yeah.
Well, and what this question reminds me of is, one, I actually don't start with boundaries when I want something to change. If I want something to change, I start with direct request.
Oh, right.
I ask.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a difference between like boundaries and complaint.
Right. Yeah, right. Exactly. And I think there's a huge difference between direct request and complaint. So a lot of times what we do is we don't ask directly for what we want. Ooh, hun, can I have a sticky conversation? Yeah. Can I have a sticky conversation with you about something that's going on for me when we go to your mom's house? My guess is that conversation has not happened.
That hasn't happened, yeah.
Yeah, it may have happened in a complaint way, like after we went to your mom's. I hate it when we go there. That's a complaint. A direct request is one, defining even what you want around this. Like maybe what you want is something like, hey, could you check with me if I'm available before you say yes to your mom about weekend visits? Right. If your mom invites us, could we have a conversation first?
Right.
About whether we're going to say yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, like could you pause every time your mom invites us?
Mhm.
And can we have a conversation before you even answer her? Could that be the thing that is the regular go-to between us?
Mhm.
Oh, the
And how
pause.
many times have I had clients and us too, my husband and I too, on a group thread where one partner is just answering the group thread, but the two partners haven't talked about it.
Mhm.
And then the other one's going, wait, you just said yes to that. I have a guys' night that night. What the hell are we doing?
Totally. My husband and
my
I had
gosh.
this the other day. It went
Yeah.
differently because,
Mhm.
like, we have a whole bunch of kids coming to sleep over. He wanted to know if he could have his guys over. Like, maybe that's not the right night for that kind of thing,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
But we have had this conversation and often enough that before he said yes to having the guys over, we talked,
Yay!
Oh, wow.
right? And he was like, "Oh yeah, this isn't a great night for that." And
Yeah,
there we
totally.
go.
Yeah.
But it's because of conversations that we've had ahead of time that have sowed those seeds.
Yeah.
So that's
And
kind of what we're talking about here, right?
Mhm.
Like this would be a great place for a meta conversation about
Totally.
patterns that have come up inside of our relationship around, sweetie, here's like the things that have happened in the past and
Mhm.
what they're leading towards and how that actually doesn't really feel okay with me. And here's what would feel okay with me. Are you
Yeah.
okay with this?
Yeah, and let's have a discussion about it.
Simple. Yeah.
Yeah. So meta conversations are great. Making requests for your partner are great. For sure, for sure. And it may be, remember, we talk about this all the time. Direct requests, it's okay for somebody to say no.
Yeah.
This is not a demand. This is actually really a request. If it turns out that something is happening that truly, truly is not okay with you, and every direct request you've tried, every meta conversation you've tried, every really compassionate, super in your integrity way to be with it has not worked, and it's truly not okay with you, then it may be time to set a boundary. Remember, boundary doesn't have anything to do with getting the other person to do a thing. It has to do with helping you say yes or no to whatever is right for you. So it may be that,
I'm going to go back to our last episode for a minute. If folks haven't listened to that, maybe they can go back and recall the conversation that we had there and you setting a boundary with your sweet daughter, right? And the boundary was something that you did. It wasn't something that she had to do.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
And you had to deal with you didn't say your disappointment, but there is, as part of it, the hard emotions of the partners, in your case, your daughter, but their response. Because I do think this isn't being said, but what so much is like, tell me how to set a boundary in a way that the other person's still going to be happy.
Oh yeah, that's not a thing.
Yeah. So like what happens?
I can't control it.
But that really is like, tell me how to do this so that there's no pushback. So there's no disappointment.
So I don't ruffle feathers so that we're actually closer.
So that they don't take it personally.
Yes.
Yeah, as if you can stop them.
Right. But that's the thing, right? Like, so, and we're going to cover taking it personally in our next episode of the series. So folks, if that's something that happens for you, if you seem to get really disappointed or if you end up taking things personally, if these are kind of things that you're struggling with.
Or even if you struggle when other people feel disappointed or mad, stay tuned because we're going to cover that more in depth next time.
Yeah, it's really a big deal, actually.
It is actually a huge deal. Here's what you're going to find is when you start working through the 6 steps, if you try this on, either it'll be like, la, everything within me is lovely. And now that I have my map, boundaries are simple. That is totally possible. And if that is you, please call me because I want to meet you and you're amazing. That is totally possible.
This is how Jules picks her friends.
Spoiler alert, it doesn't sound like Jules thinks that's going to happen.
What's more common is that when we even imagine doing all these 6 steps and then doing it in real life and living through the moment, one, the 6 steps make it a little bit easier.
Good to know.
It stirs up where exactly it's going to be really hard. And that's why I talk about internal boundaries and external boundaries, right? So the external boundaries is where everybody wants me to start. Tell me how to talk to my partner so I don't have to go to their moms.
Yes.
Could you please get this to happen for me? Also, I would like her to be happy with me as I tell her. And then I say, that's not a thing. I'm so sorry. And then she might be really upset. I can't help that. But we might be able to deal with it anyway. Right. And so we're going to go through these 6 steps. We're going to do this, and it's going to stir some stuff in you. And that'll tell us where to work. Yeah. It'll tell us what other kinds of internal boundaries you need to more support you.
So this is where boundary work is really about developing practices that take really super good care of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is why I say boundaries are self-worth in action.
Yeah. They totally are.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because like you have to see the value of you
Mm-hmm.
to see that there's something worth protecting.
Right. Say it again. Like you have to see it.
You have to see the worth and the value of you.
Yeah. And I'll say some.
Yeah,
I don't want to put a stat on it.
Yeah.
Some of us don't.
I'd say more than some.
Us don't, right?
Yeah. I think it's a learn for I think for everybody, it's learned. Some people learn it earlier than others.
What, that they have worth or that they don't?
That they do.
Oh, okay.
Or that they don't.
Or
actually.
that they don't.
Oh, so both.
Here's the thing. I'm thinking, here's a moment. I'm thinking of a moment where my kid discovered her toes. They were the best thing that ever happened in the world. In that moment, my kid knew exactly how amazing she was, how amazing her body is, how amazing her heart is, like this breathing thing she's doing is, like, as she's discovering her life. Actually, I think she is in awe and delighted by existence and herself and kind of everything in the world. And then pain happens, and we learn to block that knowing. So I think that either we didn't even get a chance to discover our toes or have a happy gaze at us, which some of us did not. And if that's you out there, oof, I hear you. I hear you, and my heart is with you. And we've all been through stuff that's like that. Some of us worse than others. Right?
Yeah.
And the discovery of your inherent worth is always right there waiting for you. And when I do boundary work with people, what I notice is that maybe they think, well, maybe I'm kind of, sort of, maybe I'll try it on like I'm worth it. And that's all they've got right now. And that's cool. That's great. I love it. Because they'll do it. And then their body goes, wait, I just got treated like I have value. And the body goes, oh, okay, I'll receive that worth. And then the next time it's just a little bit easier to get, well, maybe it is okay to treat me like I'm valuable, like I'm worthy of protection.
I find that this is why the 6 steps are also so important. Because for some people where these are the learnings, right? Where the learnings are about their worth, it's really hard to externalize the boundaries and put them into practice with other people. If we haven't done that inner self work first. And so much of these 6 steps is work that you do between you and you. Yeah. Or maybe between you and a therapist, right? But it's work that helps to hold you.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's like reparenting in action in the moment.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. So like the stuff that didn't go so good, you're going to learn how to make that better between you and you. And you're going to learn how to hold you in a much more flexible way that's full of wellness.
Yeah. And who says what's well? Well, you do. People always ask me, because I'm a boundary person, well, what's a healthy boundary? And I say, one that's flexible and honors your truth. I don't know what you should say yes or no to. I don't know what should be on your okay and not okay list. I don't live in your context. I don't know what's right for you in your family system. I have no idea. I have no idea. I do know that if they can be flexy and stable, then
Yeah.
they're probably doing pretty okay.
Yeah.
So let's be with this person who is asking about this one thing.
Why doesn't my partner respect my boundaries?
And especially about this one thing, you're trying to get her to do some stuff. So
Yeah.
what happens if we U-turn instead and we say, okay, here's what feels clear. Maybe you don't want to go to mom's house all the time. You've tried to do direct requests. You've tried to do meta conversations. Didn't work. Turns out you're going to maybe sometimes say no to going to mom's.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That'll be, maybe that's the boundary you want to put. I don't know because I don't know you. I'd have to explore it with you. But let's just notice this. Let's start with step one. What's your big why? What reason really fits for you, caller, about what's so important about your needs around how you show up or don't show up at mom's house?
I really need to have choice.
Great.
I don't like to be forced into things that doesn't feel okay for me. And I kind of feel like in these situations, the rug is just ripped out from underneath me. It's not fair. I don't have choice.
Mm-hmm.
She's not listening to me. Her mom keeps inviting me. Like, it's just.
Yeah. So here's what I'm hearing is that you protecting your ability to choose is really, really important.
Very much.
Am I getting it?
Yep.
Okay. Let's imagine you're going to set this boundary at some point. Is you protecting your ability to choose a big enough oomph for you? Is that a really good reason?
Totally. Because I never had choice when I was growing up.
Okay. So this is, great work. Excellent. So this is like a gift to your inner little ones. This is a gift to you. This is saying, choice is essential for me.
Yeah. I was always told what to do.
Yeah. So this is great. And sometimes here's what I'm hearing is it feels like how this dynamic is going. It feels like you're being told what to do. That doesn't feel okay.
That's it.
Yep. Great. Okay. So let's define your action. So what would you be willing to actually do? And then we'll figure out how to say it.
Well, can I just do what I've been doing? Like I've been telling her, I don't want to go. Don't invite me. Don't let your mom invite me. That's
you could totally do that. What you're also telling me is that that's not working for you. And so you could absolutely do that. If that's like where you really want to be, go for it. And also, what I'm hearing is you want a different way. Because maybe it's putting stress on you and maybe.
Well, she hasn't been listening. I don't understand why, but she's not listening.
Right.
So it's clearly not working.
Right. And even when you've tried these more gentle practices we've been working on, the direct request and the meta conversations, it really isn't going well.
It's exhausting.
And some of the stuff you said, it sounds like she's got some fear going on about how her mom's going to respond. So she may not even be in a space where she's listening to you. I get that. Maybe you're right. She's not able to listen to me about this thing. Right?
Yeah, because she doesn't want to hear this. It disappoints her.
Right. So what are you willing to do? Not what do you want her to do? What are you willing to do to make sure you protect your choice? What feels okay for you? What would be too much? Ooh, that's too harsh. I wouldn't feel good about doing that. Ooh, that feels like it doesn't actually protect me. What's the in the middle place where you could actually do something that protects your choice?
Well, I don't know. I guess like it's hard for her to go to her mom's. So, because there's some hard relational stuff there. So maybe I could drive her and I could pick her up, but maybe I don't stay.
Oh, okay, great. And would you need to not stay every time, or is that more like a time by time decision?
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
But I need to know that I can decide every time. I think I need to know that I can decide every time.
Well, here's what I'm here to tell you.
Yeah.
Is if you want to, you can decide every time. It's not up to her.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay.
Yeah. So
I just need to name that it's really hard to stay in role play, but it's kind of fun. Okay, let's go back.
Okay. You're doing great. Thank you for playing this.
Yeah.
So exactly. So when you're with your wife, you might tell her this in advance. We're not going to do that right away. We want to go all the way through the 6 steps, but we're going to tell
Just
her in
even
advance.
thinking about telling her this, like I feel like prickly up my spine. I feel my belly clenching. My heart's beating really fast. My hands are sweating.
Yeah. Great.
My toes are curled.
I love that. You're tracking. Telling her in advance is going to be hard. Go back to your big why. Go back to your big why.
Oh, I want choice.
Is it really, really important for you to protect your ability to choose?
Yeah.
Is it worth these big feelings?
I think so.
Okay. So here's a map, and it's my map. You push back, you play with it, you do whatever you need to it, right? Here's my map. It's okay for me to support you in going to your mom's. It's not okay for me to always say yes to going all the way. So every time we're going over to your mom's, I'm going to give myself a pause and decide whether or not I want to go inside. And some days I probably will say yes, and some days I probably will say no, but I can always drive you.
So
I'm just trying that on.
I'm trying it on with you as I hear you, and I'm noticing like how much movement is stirred up inside my belly.
Mm-hmm.
And how like shaky my body feels imagining me saying all that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, how would you say it? How would you say, here's what I'm going to do?
It's really hard for me to go to your mom's.
Mm-hmm.
And
so a vulnerable share begins it. Great.
Yeah.
Good work.
And I need to know that I could decide whether or not I want to go inside.
Yeah. Are you asking her for permission, or are you giving yourself the ability to protect?
I think I'm giving myself the ability to protect.
Yeah. Great.
And I'm willing most of the time, if my time allows, to accompany you to and from your mom's. I just don't know if I'm going to go inside all the time.
Great.
I know how uncomfortable it gets there, and it makes me uncomfortable, and I'll be there to hold you and support you.
Okay, here we go. And we're going to add lots and lots of words to try to take care of the other person's feelings.
Yeah.
And I'm going to encourage you to pull back on those words and let yourself just say the thing.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, and maybe your wife is super different, but I'll tell you, as a listener, when I heard that, there was a little bit of wiggle room in there. So if you feel really clear on it and you do not want to offer wiggle room, you might want to say clearly somewhere in there what I've decided to do moving forward.
All right. So that feels like I got to find the shakiness in my spine and make it straight.
Remember your big why. Yeah. And it's all
really
right.
hard to go to your mom's.
Yeah.
I get that.
Good.
It's sometimes too hard for me. And I need to be able to say no.
Oh, I'm freaking out, guys.
Yeah. Because I am too, Vic.
Yeah.
I'm freaking out because I'm anticipating. I don't know this couple. I'll put this out there. This is not my couple, whatever. I am anticipating wife not handling this well.
Well, you know what I would add? I need to be able to say no. And then I would add, I want to keep supporting you. So sometimes I might drive you, but choose not to go inside.
Yeah, that's not supporting me.
Yeah. And I'm not worried about that yet, but I might add that, because here's what I notice is sometimes when people feel
supporting me is coming inside and holding my hand and not letting go. And when my mom says something, standing up for me. And
why is it fair that you don't have to go if I have to go?
Totally. And all that might happen. So we're gonna notice that when we're setting boundaries, sometimes it can feel harsh for people listening if we only say what's not okay. But we can make it really, really relational if we add in what is okay. Here's what I am willing to do. Here's what I'm not willing to do.
Well, I want more.
So going to your mom's is really hard. It's hard for both of us. And I am willing to try and support you best I can. Sometimes that might mean that I drive you there. And sometimes it might mean that I don't go at all.
So this amazing thing happened. And
what
by
happened?
the way, again, this is total fiction.
This is weird. Like I'm making this up on the spot. I don't know these people either.
But the most amazing thing happened is that I found myself leaning into your boundary in a way of like, oh, if you're allowed to say you don't want to go, I wonder if I'm allowed to say. They're both cheering.
We're all celebrating.
Like, it shifted away from it's not fair. Why do I have to go if you don't? It was like this. Oh, maybe I could set that boundary too.
Yeah.
So it was interesting. Again, total fiction. It was really weird, but I did find myself thinking that instead.
But that's what happens. That's what happens.
Yeah. Great.
It's like contagious, this stuff.
Totally. So here, let's notice. Here is where most people would stop their prior practice.
That's
a mistake. Let's not do that. Let's now ask, Rebecca, what would your wife do next? Let's anticipate. Let's make a guess. And if I were working with you one-on-one, I'd ask you for 5 different guesses or 3 different guesses.
Oh, a lot.
Get a variety of different potential responses. But because we're on a podcast, let's choose just one.
So, hey, Vicky, could you help me with this one? Because I kind of feel like you could role play my wife a little bit right now.
Yeah.
And
apparently,
what might you do?
So off the top of my head, I had two. And one of them was like.
Pick the hardest one.
Yeah. Hard for who? Because the one is like fighting back if that's not fair. You need to come with me and hold my hand and support me. And the other one was total shutdown of like, I don't even want to have this conversation anymore. So
which one would be harder for you, Rebecca?
For me and my nervous system, I don't even want to have this conversation anymore. Because I could fight. So, I could stay in the fight, but the shutdown, I don't know what to do with.
Yeah, great.
Okay,
let's do that. So let's anticipate. Okay. What she's going to do is she's going to shut down and say, I don't even want to talk about this anymore. Okay, what
Fine, do what you're going to do. You're not coming with me. Fine. I'll deal with it on my own.
Okay, great. Oof. Great job. Okay, so when you guess that you're going to hear that, now we're going to move on to step 4. Can you check out what is it that happens in you when you hear the shutdown response?
I feel like I want to barf and scream and pound something and go hide because why the heck did I even bother all over again?
Great work. Really good tracking. Okay, now we're going to greet the barf and why do I even try? And all the inside. We're going to greet it with that soothing plan. And you already have a soothing plan. We're going to go over how to make one later on in our series. So you're going to remember your soothing plan and then remember your big why about wanting to protect your ability to choose.
That's right.
Right. Oh, that why is so important.
Yeah. You can't get through it without it, can you? I can't.
No. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And then how do you answer her? When you are super in your integrity. You want to show up kindly, show up kindly. You want to show up firmly, show up firmly. It's not for me to say.
I hear how hard this is. It's hard for me too. Some moments with your mom just don't feel okay for me. And I want to be a support to you. And I don't want it to hurt me. I will drive you when I can. I will not go in the side all the time.
Yeah, great. And then remember that she asked not to talk about it anymore. And you get to choose how much you're going to say when you hear that shutdown. So for people who experience a shutdown, sometimes it's helpful when their partner, when that's the defensive response, it's helpful to just invite a conversation later. So we keep remember when we're in shutdown, we can't take in a lot of words. So we want to keep that response.
Hear her say she didn't want to talk about it anymore. Isn't that funny?
Did I say? Because I don't even remember what I said.
You
so
did.
Thank you, Jules, for that.
I didn't even hear it.
Did. Yeah. So she said, I don't even want to talk about this anymore. Fine, I'll go to my mom's. Without you, it doesn't matter. Yeah, but she started with, I don't want to talk about this
I would have
anymore.
totally missed, like, if that's how we set boundaries, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I would have missed that.
Yeah, totally.
It's so funny how even like our nervous systems in the role play get, oh, wow,
get really hooked in, right?
So freaking cool.
So be with your soothing plan and then just notice we're going to use as few words as possible to communicate kindness and same as before. Right?
Yeah.
But we're not going to use too many words. Maybe with shutdown, folks, we can talk about it later too. I'm always open to talking about this. I really do want to work through this with you. Something like that. Yeah. But we want to use teeny tiny words. So knowing that, remember your big why, feel the barfy. Yeah. Use your soothing plan. And what do you say?
Am I saying it to her? Or am I saying it to my anticipation of her?
You can say it to your anticipation of her or to her, whatever you like. Like she just said, oh, I shut down. You went barfy. Yeah. She says, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Fine. I'll just go without you.
So to that, I would say, yeah, I hear that. We can talk about this another time. This is still where my limits are.
Great job setting boundaries.
That was awesome.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I'm not going to let go of this. I'm holding that why. I'm not letting go of it. It's still important to me. And I hear you.
And I hear you. And I want to work through this with you. We are partners. Yeah. Setting boundaries isn't about coming out of connection.
No, it's actually about partnership.
It's actually about staying more in connection.
Yeah.
The truth is that if I pretend I'm okay when I'm not okay, then I'm going to leave you in my head while you're seeing me in front of you.
Oh my gosh. How many times have I sat in front of my partner? He knows this. I'm not saying anything he doesn't know. We talk about it all the time. How many times have I sat in front of my partner and I went, oh my God, I freaking hate you. Why?
Totally.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But there's so many whys. And like in other moments, I can answer those whys and I can feel totally differently. But in those particular moments, I'm in a kind of place and it doesn't feel good.
Yeah. Which is why I'm actually a really big advocate of supporting boundary work to bring us into more connection. The more protected I am, the more integrated my brain stays, the more relational I can be with you. So notice you're putting in your soothing plan, which for you is a fingers rubbing together. We'll talk more about that later. But you're putting in your fingers rubbing together that's hooked to all sorts of reminders about your value system and who you want to be in relationship. You're doing that. And then your brain gets integrated and creative about how to answer.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, sweetie, you're right. This is that hard. We can talk about it many times. I'm always open to you. I do feel really clear about wanting to protect myself on this one.
Yeah. That's right.
I want to emphasize, Jules, the reality that you sit with of those two. I mean, they're all really big and important for different reasons. Anticipating the response and anticipating your reactions is, again, it's not that magic land of we're going to sit here in the therapy office and pretend it's going to go well.
Oh, yeah.
And just pretend that the spouse is going to accept it.
Now.
Right. But it's like, really, what is your spouse going to say to this? I mean, I've not joked, but like, I'm in a very safe and healthy relationship, but like, I'm quote unquote afraid of Gabe sometimes. And he finally said to me, he's like, what are you afraid of? And I literally said to him, you scoff at me. It's like,
right. You're not scared of him hitting you.
I'm not
of course
scared of him. But like that scoff, but like you sit in the reality of, yes, the wife may shut down. Then what are you going to do? And Rebecca, you felt it was, this is everything that happens with me. And how do I deal with this?
Barf right now.
Totally.
And that's reality.
That is
Not
the
a
reality.
like magic wand of like, oh no, here's the script that's going to make it all work.
There are no
It does
magic
make it work,
wands.
so I apologize for that. But it doesn't make it work
No. But it's not a
without
magic
reaction.
wand.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it.
So,
it's not about.
it's amazing.
It's not about trying to manipulate or control the other person's reaction.
Yeah.
It's only about stating clearly, without any manipulation. Here's what's okay with me. Here's what's not okay with me. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's how I want to take care of us while I take care of me. Whatever feels that I don't want us to be unkind, but I do want us to be clear. In fact, I think clear is kind. So the clearer we can be with each other, the more I can show up and be a good partner to you. Yeah. We should leave it there for today.
I think we should. We've got
Those
3 more
six
of these.
steps are big, y'all.
They are.
They are. They really
Thanks
are.
for hanging in there with us. And we'll be back next week.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
That wraps up this week's episode. Join us again next week for another Why Does My Partner?
We hope that you continue to listen wherever you get your audio and that you'll follow the show.
To go deeper, join us at one of our workshops. You'll find our next date at whydoesmypartner.com.
Did you know you can ask us your questions?
Your questions are relational gold.
Go to whydoesmypartner.com to either write in or record your question for a future episode.
And here are some gratitudes. Thanks to Al Huberman, our sound editor and podcast production magic maker.
Thanks to every one of you who has joined us for our workshops in the past. We've learned so much from all of you.
And thanks to everyone who's reviewed the show on Apple Podcasts. Your reviews help others to find the show.
Take care of each other best you can.
See you next time.